Whoa!
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Sharks are among the most feared water creatures on the planet due to their aggressive nature and capacity to harm people. What happens when a shark gets too near humans? Stay with us as we investigate 6 shark encounters that will give you anxiety. Shark assaults the cage. This video begins with the terrifying appearance of the shark towards the underwater cage, leaving the cage divers in complete shock. The cage divers continue to scream as the great white shark launches a brutal assault on the cage. The shark is so desperate that it takes several bites of the cage to get the food inside. The horrific situation ends as the shark disappears into the water after the failed attempts of breaking the cage in half. Men on kayak encounter shark. On a sunny day in Australia, a man was on a fishing trip on a kayak. Then, suddenly, he observes a shark fin coming out of the water. The great white shark is constantly following him. Both the men of the boat stick together and use their maximum efforts to scare the shark away. They keep a close eye on the shark, as the shark loses interest in chasing them. They stop recording and begin to move onto their journey.
She's very interested in me. Holy that's a big white. Dave.
Sea divers encounter shark. Near the seaside of Mozambique, a group of deep-sea divers was exploring the aquatic habitat. Their venture turns into a nightmare as the inquisitive great white shark begins to revolve around them. At first, they were peacefully enjoying the ocean floor. Then suddenly, they spot a shark appearing from nowhere to their left. The shark stalks them persistently, while the group of scuba divers nervously record the footage of the predator lurking around them closely. They choose to stop the recording of the shark swimming around them, and what happens next will remain a mystery. Fisherman catches great white shark. While fishing along the seashore on a kayak, this man catches something big in his fishing line. This thing is constantly pulling the fishing line. Even though the catch is very heavy, he still tries his best to pull this heavy catch out of the water. But what reaches the surface is not what he anticipated in his wildest thoughts. A great white shark. In complete trauma, he pulls back his fishing line and stops recording while switching off the camera at the same time.
Whoa!
Hungry great white approaches divers. Near the island of St. George, the YouTuber Gray Shep was out for an exhilarating spearfishing adventure. Unfortunately, this adventure takes a creepy turn when they observe a hungry great white shark approaching them. Before this, he spends most of his time swimming around the bottom of the ocean and even succeeds in catching plenty of fish, even though he feels that he has done enough and figures out how to swim back to the boat. Instantly, he feels something weird swimming right under him, now worrying for his life. He quickly begins to reload the spear gun and tries his best to be completely aware of his surroundings. Unluckily, the great white shark decides to come into action one more time. After understanding the uncertainty of this situation, his friends help him to get him out of the water and on the boat, while all of them were in quiet shock at what had really happened. YouTuber encounters a shark. In South Africa, the YouTuber Dev De Lunga was out for an ordinary fishing adventure. But what happens next was completely unexpected. He begins to record his surroundings as he was catching a fish nearby. You can see that starts to scream in excitement as he catches something big in his fishing line. He begins to pull the fishing rod towards him. Horribly, the fish coming is not the only thing heading towards his boat. A shark collides with the boat. On impact, the kayaker is pushed into the water. Fortunately, he manages to get back on the boat safely and pulls his legs out of the reach of the shark lurking nearby. After that, the predator cannot be seen as it has probably swam away and disappeared into the depths of the ocean. I have no confusion in saying that this man will never think of kayaking in the open ocean again. Shark circling the diver. In Egypt, the YouTuber Hakim is calmly swimming around near the Brothers Island. Then suddenly, a member of his crew got extremely unlucky. It looks like an ordinary shark encounter in which nothing bad happens. But unfortunately, things get terrible in seconds when the shark begins to circle around one of the divers. The man feels threatened and tries to swim away from the shark. Unexpectedly, the shark attempts to take a bite of his foot. Fortunately, the shark fails in his attempts and peacefully swims away as nothing happened. The divers are concerned about their safety after the close encounter with the shark. At the same time, the shark comes back into action and targets the same guy. The predator attempts to take a bite of his face. The diver utilizes his maximum efforts to get away with the beast, and it charges back again. Luckily, the diver lands a powerful punch at the shark's face, scaring him away and running for his retreat. Man faces shark. In the ocean, things can get nasty at any moment, and you should be fully prepared to fight for your life. The same is the case with this man. What would you do if a shark came very close to you? Either you have to swim away, or you have to fight it off. Cage diving gone wrong. In Ganzen, South Africa, the YouTuber Aheb Tuji and his pals were on a cage diving expedition when they observed something terrible: a ferocious great white shark not too far away from them. They attempt to draw its attention towards them by attacking a piece of meat to a rope. The great white shark is certainly nearby, but the predator isn't interested in that tiny piece of meat floating around. The shark tries to damage the cage by taking several bites of the metal bars, but luckily fails in doing so. The predator gives up his efforts and loses interest in the meal. It turns away and disappears into the depths of the ocean. What would have happened if the shark was successful in his attempts to annihilate the cage? It still gives me the shivers. Would you ever go cage diving with sharks? A big no from my side. Tigerfish encounter. Under the shore of Fiji Island, an underwater filmmaker crew was peacefully doing their job when a massive tigerfish pays a visit to them to let them know who's in charge of the ocean. As the beast swims down from above, the crew attempts to get the most out of this close and creepy encounter by recording the footage of the shark as much as possible. The unbelievable happens when the hungry shark comes close to a diver and tries to bite his hands off. In utter shock, the diver immediately backs off in fear that it might make another attempt. The diver utilizes his full efforts to remain face to face with the predator. It now begins to circle around him. After a few minutes of a nightmare, the shark finally decides to spare the life of this man and swims away, while the crew members look at each other in shock at what just happened. Those divers were fortunate enough to record such footage without getting in trouble or worse. Close call with the shark. In this video, a man needs help getting on a boat. He has the worst friends ever that are not helping him, but watching the shark approaching dangerously close to this man. He then begins to circle around the man. Luckily, he managed to get on the boat safely. Swimmers spot a shark. These men are enjoying the sunny day at the seaside. Among them, a man comes near the water and somersaults into the ocean. He joins the other men in the ocean. They were cherishing the experience. Suddenly, a man on the boat tells them to get back to the boat as he spots a shark nearby. After both men get on the boat, the shark comes close to the boat again, but disappears in the ocean soon. They were lucky enough to get on the boat safely.
Get in the boat, get in the boat. Look, he's right there. He's right there. What the?
Shark attacks Mike Fanning. A professional Australian surfer, Mike Fanning, was participating in the World Surf Championship when he was attacked by a shark. Mick, fearing for his life, immediately leaves his surfboard in the sea and swims speedily away from the shark. A rescuer on the boat helps him get on land safely without any trouble. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by a subscriber. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. The subscriber's pick. In today's subscriber's pick, a man is on a kayak paddling around the seashore. Suddenly, a fin appears out of the water. It appears like the shark is after this man. This incident took place in Florida when kayakers were on a surfing expedition. This man's surfing adventure takes a scary turn when he was suddenly attacked by a wild great white shark, while the man continues to paddle around trying his best to find the next wave to catch. When unthinkable happens, a shark lands near the boat again. He tries to process the situation. Meanwhile, he delicately checks his paddle to find out what that could have been when the predator jumps towards his boat again. At last, adrenaline surges through his body and he quickly paddles away from the shark as fast as he can. Fortunately, he makes it back to safety without being harmed. A group of men was on a cage diving expedition under the sea, recording the mesmerizing underwater habitat peacefully. After a few minutes, a big shark comes out of nowhere and begins to circle around the cages. It is quite strange that this shark approaches the cages several times, but it didn't launch an assault on divers for even a single time. The crew was surprised and recorded this whole encounter on their cameras. After a few moments, the shark swims away and disappears into the depths of the ocean. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.